First at 4, he was just riding his bike, but he never made it home. We're tracking a heartbreaking mystery in Macomb County. Democrats hope Mitt Romney might help them grant Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish. Well, today, the Republican senator explains his next move. And here's Paula.
Sometimes the best solution for the most difficult problem is so simple, it's mind-boggling. We're going to show you how one school district is handling getting its students connected to their technology.
And autumn has arrived officially as of 9:31 this morning, but temperatures continue that upward trend into the weekend. We'll see how high they'll go right now. First at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, a deadly hit and run in Macomb County leads to some very critical questions. Here's what we know. A 50-year-old man was riding his bike early this morning near 27 Mile and Romeo Plank. That's over in Ray Township. Deputies say he was hit and the driver kept going. Someone spotted the victim laying in a grassy area. Romeo Plank has just reopened after being closed for hours for the investigation. So far, we don't know the victim's identity, and there's no description of the vehicle that hit him. We're working the story, and we'll have a live update when you join us at 5. We also do have an update on that fatal hit and run we were following Monday, first at 4. This afternoon, state police say they have received quite a few tips in the past 24 hours. We told you there was an accident on I-94 yesterday, and since then we have learned 26-year-old Zach Morissette was killed while doing road construction. Someone hit him near 9 Mile and then just took off. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle says this tragedy serves as a warning for drivers in construction zones.
If you see anything out there where you got a construction zone, construction workers out on the road, please slow down. Be mindful of your driving habits. Keep your eye on the road. Don't get distracted by anything that's going on inside that vehicle. And even for those that are working in public safety, we need to keep those folks safe.
Right now, the vehicle that hit the worker is only described as a white box truck. If you can help, call state police. Michigan can't seem to slow new cases of the coronavirus, and the CDC is talking about Halloween. Those stories top today's coronavirus update. Today, the state is reporting 504 new cases. Back in June, you might recall, that number dipped below 200, but we just haven't been in that range for months. 15 additional deaths have also been recorded in the past day. Nationwide, we have passed the 200,000 mark in terms of the number of deaths. Today, Governor Whitmer says it's a reminder we need to take the virus seriously to prevent more devastation in our communities. Meantime, the Centers for Disease Control offering its first guidance for the fall holidays, including Halloween. It says door-to-door trick-or-treating is discouraged. So are costumes with masks and Halloween parties. The agency says many traditional activities can be high risk for spreading the virus. The new guidance lists different levels of risk. You can find a link to the CDC on the coronavirus page at clickondetroit.com. The focus of this year's presidential race swings back to Michigan as Joe Biden's running mate is in Detroit right now. Senator Kamala Harris started her trip in Flint. She was joined by fellow Senator Debbie Stabenow, the Democratic vice presidential nominee, towards several small businesses impacted by the pandemic. Now, in less than 30 minutes, Senator Harris will participate in a roundtable conversation here in Detroit. In between campaign stops, our Rhonda Walker will sit down one-on-one with Harris, and we'll have their conversation when you join us tonight at 6. Now, take a look at some of the early morning floods that were seen over in Houston, Texas. Tropical storm Beta made landfall overnight, soaking a stormy, weary Gulf Coast. Heavy rains flooded streets. Some people had to be rescued from their vehicles. Some areas have received 10 to 12 inches of rain. This is the first time a storm named for a Greek letter has made landfall in the continental United States. Meteorologist Ben Bailey standing by this afternoon with the very latest on the storm. Ben.
Yeah, Karen, thank goodness it is a tropical depression right now. It's continuing to weaken, but that never really was the issue. The winds weren't the biggest problem. As you mentioned, it was the rain. And because of the slow movement of that storm, it's crawling at 2 miles per hour right now. It's going to be sort of raking itself along the Gulf Coast here as we get through the next 24 to 48 hours. So as it continues to move towards Louisiana, it's just going to be sucking more of that moisture out of the Gulf, and rain's going to become a bigger problem. In fact, there could be some spots that pick up an additional 6, 8, 9 inches of rain on top of what they already have. Here's a look at the radar right now. You can see those moisture feeds coming in off the Gulf, just exacerbating those rainfall totals. Back home, we don't have a whole lot of impact in our weather in the next 4 days, but beyond that into the weekend, the second half of the weekend, we could get wet. We'll look at our rain chances for that and a marked cool down coming in the 7-day forecast straight ahead. Karen?
All right, we'll check back with you in a few minutes. Thanks, Ben. Just 4 days after the death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the battle over her dying wish seems to be over. A key senator has told us where he stands, and it's devastating news for Democrats. Let's bring in Kimberly Gill. And Kim, all eyes have been on Senator Mitt Romney.
They really have. Good afternoon to you, Karen. We've been told one of Justice Ginsburg's dying wishes, as you said, was that her successor be named by the president who wins the November election. Well, today, Republican Senator Mitt Romney said he does not agree with that request, and he defended the GOP against claims of a double standard. Listen.
I think there's some perception on the part of some writers and others that, gee, what happened with Merrick Garland was unfair. I don't agree with that. I don't know whether you think it was a good decision or not, but it wasn't unfair because it was consistent with history. It was consistent with precedent. It was consistent with the Constitution.
Merrick Garland, as you remember, was President Obama's pick to succeed Justice Antonin Scalia in early 2016. The Republican Senate, though, never considered the nomination, saying it was an election year. Republicans say this year is different because they control the White House and the Senate. Democrats call it hypocrisy and blast at the Senate Majority Leader who has led both efforts.
Sadly, Leader McConnell has defiled the Senate like no one in this generation, and Leader McConnell may very well destroy it.
Democrats needed 4 Republicans to help them stop the confirmation. They only have 2. Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Unless there's a surprising twist here, Karen, there's not much they can do to stop a confirmation. So President Trump has said he will announce his nominee on Saturday. We'll have more from Washington tonight on the news at 5. We'll send it back to you.
All right, always appreciate it. Thank you,
Sure.
Kim. Well, for many families, connecting is as easy as flipping on a laptop. For others, though, it's much harder. The FCC says 6% of American households do not have internet access. And when you talk about the rural areas, the inner city communities, that number can jump as high as 30%. So today, Paula Tutman reports one local district has found a unique way to get the kids to school from home.
Of course, we know so many school districts have had so many problems just getting their students connected and learning in this most difficult time. But this is one of these problem-solving solutions that is so simple, it's just going to make you smile. On another day at another time in history, you would see feet of children piling out of the school bus and heading into class. But when this bus stops in the morning in Westland, it's not children being delivered to school.
It is so quiet.
It is school being delivered to children.
Here is the unit here, and we just simply plug it in here.
10,000 students in this district are learning completely remotely. The Wayne Westland Community School District, like many other districts, has struggled with a back order of devices. But once students got those devices, the district realized that having a Chromebook was one thing, but having connectivity was something else entirely.
I also do want to plug our transportation department that have turned our buses into mobile Wi-Fi for areas in our community that don't have connectivity.
The solution, as easy as a router plugged into a lighter. And so in the mornings, 21 buses are deployed to various communities, and during school hours, the bus becomes the beacon for technology. Behind the doors and windows of these homes are children who are connected by way of the big yellow hotspot bus.
We were able to do this through a partnership with United Way of Southeastern Michigan. And so they funded $20,000 to help fund these devices, to purchase these devices.
I think we're helping out a lot. I know there's a lot of families that don't have Wi-Fi at home.
I think it's wonderful that the district came up with this.
It is this kind of swing from the trees, thinking outside the box or bus approach this district is taking to find every child and make sure they have the tools they need to learn in the most unconventional ways. Paula Tutman, Local 4.
Pretty cool idea. Thanks, Paula. The Wayne Westland Community School District has the Big Yellow Bus Hotspot program funded through the rest of the year and says if it does need to, it will find additional funding for next year. Still ahead, here first at 4. Ready to set sail? The cruise industry is trying to convince the CDC it is ready to launch. So would the upgrades make you feel safer? The legendary Michael Jordan is ready for a new challenge in a new sport. How he's trying to expand opportunities for African Americans. But first, it's National Voter Registration Day. We have a progress report from Facebook and how a famous billionaire is helping felons who have served their time cast their ballots. We'll explain next.